If you are happy and you know, clap your hands.
Education, often hailed as the foundation of the future, is falling apart in this farming community. At Sechelbo DA Basic School, the earlier stages of learning have become a struggle no child should endure.
We are 3 professional teachers in the school year. With that number, we divided the classes, the grades into 3 because we want each level should also have something. So one of the problems is the classes are not even enough. So we have 3 class rooms and we have to use those classrooms. So we have divided them into 3. KG 1, 2 and basic 1 in one class. P2, P3 in another class, P4, P5 and 6. And we are handling them. We are not finding things easy. It's very difficult for us, but we are managing. But you okay, man?
Multi-grade teaching is not a choice here. It is a necessity, one that compromises the quality of education and the future of these children.
And frankly speaking, we have not been fair. We have never been fair to these young children. The children are suffering. How can a child sit on the floor to write? Some, even we have to buy mats for them to be able to sit so that they will be a little bit clean.
The recent delivery of textbooks to Sechelbo DA Basic School offers little solace when the lack of desk leaves these books vulnerable to wear and tear.
With the textbooks, if you don't have any a sitting place, with the textbook, these children, they are young. They are not like grown up like us. We can hold and write. They are small. We are teaching them. But with the textbook, how would they write? So at least they should come to our aid.
The school feeding program is a lifeline for education, providing meals that boost enrollment, keep children in school, and help them focus on learning. Unfortunately, pupils at Sechelbo DA Basic School go through their day on empty stomachs with hunger, competing against education and causing enrollment to decline.
The school feeding, which will have also helped to increase the enrollment, I and my head, we applied. Still, we have not heard any information about it. We're also planning to even mobilize ourselves to see if the community can help. Then we'll do some gardening for the school. When we harvest, then we'll be using it to do porridge for the children in the morning. That will also help them to come. Okay, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, we need teachers.
I'm a native of this community. But recently I completed my education in Iba. From there, after that I completed my education, I said, no, let me come back to my first station or my old school to help my junior brothers so that they can also be well educated from me.
Joshua's story is one of hope and sacrifice, but even his addition cannot fill the gap left by a shortage of professional teachers.
On the average, most of our primary schools have less than 4 teachers. On the average, most of them have 2 teachers, 3 teachers. The school that we could say is very lucky will be in Tatale Township here, maybe about 5 teachers, the primary school. So that's how bad the staffing situation is.
And I doubt how a class 1 child can learn class 3 subjects. And they all learn the same thing. So it means the lower ones are being polluted because they can not even pronounce 2-letter words. How can they be writing the sentence to read the whole sentence?
Claire, please pay attention.
For these children, the future seems uncertain. Poor infrastructure and inadequate staff have created a crisis that demands urgent intervention.
The children themselves are quite cooperative, but for some time now we are also trying to also involve much attention from the parents so that they will help together with us to bring the children to board. Though they are all doing well and then they are cooperating, but the academic aspect is also low at the moment. That's for my experience. I've seen that they need a lot. And when I came, I also tried to find out why it is this way. I got to realize that there were insufficient infrastructural activities that will support the children to pick up the knowledge they needed.
These children represent the promise of tomorrow, but without desks to sit on, classroom to learn in, or food to sustain them, how can they carry the weight of a nation's future? It is time to act. It is time to make fairness a reality for every child in Ghana. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Sachilbo, Northern Region.
All right, so you just watched the documentary Crumbling Stats, and that's how a section of the population, they're dealing with education where there's actually inadequate access or lack of access to education. But there are those too who have access to education, but it comes at a cost that they feel is way too high and is spiraling out of control, which is why this morning we're having this conversation. The cost of educating Ghanaian children, are parents paying too much? And joining us for the conversation this morning is Mohammed Hashmin, spokesperson of the Ministry of Education. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Israel.
We have Stella Jima Labi, who is a former National Best Teacher Award winner and author who likes to describe herself as global teacher. Thank you for joining us for the conversation. We have Dr. Eric Amwa, who's a Deputy Director General, Technical Services at the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, NACA. Welcome.
Thank you.
To the show. And then we have Jonas Wogbolo, who is PRO for the Concerned Parents Association. Good morning to you, Jonas. We also have some guests who have joined us in the studio. Blessing Kome, who's a convener of the Concerned Parents Association, and some others. We'll be introducing them as they come into the studio. But yes, we're starting, and I'd like to start with the Concerned Parents Association and Jonas, for him to get us to appreciate what these issues are. There are a number of issues. It primarily has to do with the textbook issue. The textbooks where they say, like when we were growing up, I grew up a long time ago, where we're having textbooks that can be passed on. And indeed, yes, we passed on our textbooks to our siblings. But apparently, that has changed in recent times. So, Jonas, you tell us what the issues are, what your concerns are.
Our concern is about our textbooks. Our primary level. We just don't like why, or they have the reason why we should be writing in the textbooks. Like you rightly said, growing up, you have textbooks and have exercise books.
Okay.
So
apparently we're having challenges with your microphone, so maybe let me get Blessing to speak to it. Blessing, so you take it up while we fix the microphone for Jonas. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for having us here. All right. Our concern is simple. Looking at the situation we are all facing as a country, we look at the cost, like you said, to educate a child. Now, as we speak, I'm very aware the textbooks of government is even difficult. Public schools. Now, because of that, parents are forced to move our wards to private schools. And here in the case where you buy a textbook like this one, some of them are 100 Ghana, 120, 80. Now we buy that one. That one is not enough. We buy exercise book like Class 3, you buy about 40 to 50 for the 3 terms. You buy notebooks. And although the idea is that when we are being taught in the textbook, you are given exercise, you do it in an exercise book. If those days, the notes are in schools, the textbooks are in schools, so you are given notes to write. But what is happening is that you buy textbooks like this, the subjects, we'll talk about it. You buy all of them, you buy textbooks, you buy notebooks, you buy exercise books. Now, you could see from here that when the textbooks are being taught, you see work, another work inside.
Yeah.
Exercise is inside. Like how many people were in the studio on that morning? How many people were in the studio on that morning? 8, 6, as it's being taught. 6 or 8, then the child will just underline it, and the teacher will mark. You see how nice it is? You can't use it again. So this is class 4. Very neat. And it's gone. I have a child coming to class 4. I can't use it.
Yeah.
Because just yes or no, true or false, this book is gone. And I don't understand why a textbook should be written inside and also exercise and notes book. And the another thing is that every academic year, the prices keep changing. I know very well, this started around 2025, about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay, so you started off by saying that you had your child, or the children may be in the public school, but as a result of the challenges you have in the public school, then you move them to the private school.
Yes.
Then you encounter this.
Yes.
Are you saying that when they were in the public school, you were not encountering this challenge?
The challenge of public school is that no textbooks.
So for the public schools, there are no textbooks at all?
They don't buy textbooks. They don't have textbooks in the public schools. So it's only the teacher that uses the textbooks. And one thing, most of the schools now, they will prescribe the books for you, some of these books, most of the public school.
Okay, hold on. Hashmin, is that really the case that we don't have textbooks in the public schools?
Well, thank you very much. I think 4 years ago, the ministry through NACA decided to revise the curriculum. And then in that curriculum, they were supposed to develop textbooks for the schools. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And these are challenges that this current administration has inherited. And because government is a continuum function, you cannot just say that because you have inherited it, you have to leave it as it is. But right now, the ministry is taking up steps to be able to procure textbooks. Remember, we have revised the basic school curriculum, and in that revision, we are also making provision for more writers through NACA to be able to write more textbooks, textbooks that will be approved by NACA. And some of the challenges has to do with funding. And now that the GET fund has been uncapped, the ministry or government now has an opportunity to be able to spend more on education. Okay. So those are some of the sources that we are looking at to correct, to right the wrong.
Stella, as a teacher, I want to understand what the situation is like actually in the schools, both public and private.
So I was just wondering, when he was talking about the children writing in the books, most parents, even who are teachers, have got their kids, some of them in private schools as well. And I don't think that one of the driving force of parents moving their kids from the government schools is because of textbooks. Because the same way that your child is in the private school, you can buy the same textbooks for your child in a government school if you want the child to be in the government school.
All right, but you should, I'm sure you'd appreciate that people send their wards to the public schools because it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay? It's about affordability. It is when they feel that, and correct me if I'm wrong, the reason you would send your child to the public school is probably because you really don't have, the wherewithal, because you feel it's much cheaper. You want to make a comment?
I really want to chip in when she said we could have decided to take your child to, but let's face the fact. I don't want to come in with politics, but I think our leaders have played with our education system for so long. Why do I say this? Because we don't really have a plan for the next generation or those behind us, and it's something we need to take or tackle seriously. For instance, our brother just mentioned that they are now looking for publishers to come up and come up with some textbooks. That's even notwithstanding that. My other problem is that look at the spine of these children. I would also beg, if it's possible, let's go out there, let's do a research. Let's look at the children going to school. Look at the bags at their back. It's so heavy. I always fight with my, children. And they said, Daddy, I have to send it to school because I'm going to fix, and I have to. So
essentially, they're carrying lots of
textbooks. What happened to tablets? Why don't we have...
Hold on. We're talking about affordability.
Yes.
And public schools.
Yes.
And textbooks. And you're talking about tablets.
No, that should be like in the future.
Yes.
I'm
for now, we all carried the textbooks in our bags.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, the reason why it came up, actually it might be later on, but I wanted to just summarize everything together because we don't have much time.
Okay.
So what I want to say is that even the public schools, one, there are no desks for the kids to sit down. So they don't have books, they don't have desks to sit on. You go to a class, it's overcrowded, it's over, let's say, a minimum of 90 students, pupils in the classroom.
So Stella, looking at the challenges he's referring to, I mean, in the public schools, you don't expect the parents, to now look for monies to buy textbooks.
Yeah, so I picked it from his earlier submission. So he said some parents are moving their awards from the public schools to the private schools because of textbooks. He said that. I don't know if the others...
he said that.
Exactly. And so
you're saying that instead of moving them, they should have paid for the
books while they're in the public schools. Because it's virtually the same.
Jonas.
Israel. The main point is there's no even a roadmap. Like you said from the onset, growing up, we have a textbook. When you go to the northern region, the textbooks that they are using at the basic level is the same textbook that you see in Accra. Today, scout to the system. Every school is having their own textbooks. We don't have a national textbooks that when you go to private school, you have the same thing. When you come to the private schools, you have the same thing. Starting all these things, I started investigating. My colleague, who is a teacher, said unavailability of the textbooks in the primary levels. They are forced to be prescribing the private textbooks for them, which is the ones that they've been writing in. But what we are saying is, like my colleague said, moving them from the private government school to, it's not about moving. We want a standard textbook, a textbook that is accepted by all. We are all writing the same examination. If I am in private school, I'm supposed to be guided by the same textbook in a primary school.
Yeah. So Hashmin, is that really the case? That because of the challenge you cited, they are not really standardized textbooks in the curriculum? I'll come to you.
Okay. I think I agree with what he has said, but those are issues that we are trying to resolve. And like I have told you, I think there's someone that the Deputy Director General from NACA is here, and then he will, I think if it is his time, I think he will let you know.
So, Dr. Erica Moam, please explain to us what the challenges or the situation is with this textbook issue.
Thank you so much, Israel. And before I start, I want to say a very good morning to my boss, Professor Samuel Foley-Bequin, and my board chair, Professor Vicenta Sanford, and to all your viewers. Yes, NACA, our mandate is clear. We are to develop curriculum and assessment standards. So we develop curriculum, and then we also make sure that the curriculum that we have churned out there is assessed. So teachers teach, and before you can evaluate that teaching has taken place, there should be an assessment. But our mandate doesn't allow us to develop textbooks. So after the development of the curriculum, we can only develop supplementary materials, but textbooks are developed by publishers.
Okay.
And so the law is that after the development, they have to submit it to NACA for us to see, vet, or assess it to see whether it conforms with the curriculum. So that is done. But one of the criteria for submitting books to NACA for assessment is that if the book is for basic school, you need to submit the textbook, submit teacher's guide, and submit a workbook. So you need these three things before we can now accept your book to assess. Now, we assess to see that it conforms with the curriculum. If there are issues, we will now tell you to go back and resolve them before we can give an approval and then subsequent certification for you to be able to go to the market and then sell them. Now, these workbooks...
I just want to understand something. Yes. So you say what you do is to look at the textbooks and approve them.
Yes, yes.
Who's to decide that this is the textbook to be used in, across the basic school?
Okay, so I think I'll get there. So after approval, so we have different publishers and what they write.
Yeah.
So they submit it and we look at it, whether it conforms the curriculum and all that. If there are issues, they go to resolve it. Then afterwards, they get to the market, they hit the market, and then they sell the books. But we don't have a generalized textbook to say that, okay, this is a textbook, mathematics textbook, every learner in Ghana should use. But the government can decide to say that, okay, we are buying this particular book for the learners, but it does not necessarily mean that that is the only book learners can use. So, for example, if you want to do that, then there's that kind of monotony that will not help. In education, that is not a good practice. So you allow the learners to choose what they are comfortable with, in addition to what the government has purchased for them. So
the learners to choose, yes. Not like the schools to choose.
Not the schools to choose, because we have individual learners, their learning abilities, their learning styles, and what they are comfortable with. Because it is not the school that buys the book for the learner, it's the parent. And so the learner decides, oh, mommy, I don't want to mention any brand, but I want this particular book. I see that it's very good. Then the parent will go and buy for the learner. But the government can decide to say that, okay, we are buying this particular brand for all Ghanaian learners at Basic 2, Basic 3, Basic 4. But it does not mean that that is the restriction. Parents can still buy additional books in addition to what government has purchased.
Now, it sounds very chaotic to me, the way you're describing this, because I grew up knowing that there's a particular textbook that we're using standardized across a number of schools, so that we're being taught essentially the same thing.
So what is standardized?
So I recall history, F.K. Bua, mathematics, JSP, okay? And I'm sure you probably also encountered that.
Like, I think the JSP was not the only mathematics book at that time. There were additional mathematics books. So what is standardized is the curriculum.
Exactly.
And so the curriculum is standard-based curriculum across. If you go to Tamale, if you go to Accra, if you go to Bono East, it's standardized. And we expect teachers to have what is called fidelity of implementation. The textbooks are just supplementary materials that go to supplement what teachers give to the learners in the classroom. So we cannot say that all Ghanaian children stick to this particular brand of mathematics. We can't say that. People, the one you may recommend to the learners may not be good for a particular learner. So you allow that flexibility. But then government can decide to say that, okay, we are comfortable with this particular brand, so let's buy it for the learners. But it does not restrict the learners to go in for additional books.
And what science and research suggests that this is better. I mean, I am completely lost in all of that. Maybe because I'm very old school.
So when Doc is done, I'll come in. Since I'm in the classroom, I'll give you the practicality of what is there.
It is better. I think what is used as a benchmark is the curriculum.
Israel.
Israel, I think what the clarity Doc wants to bring before you is that whatever a writer is putting into the public domain must be in conformity with the curriculum.
And then, so what? Each learner decides that, as you're saying, each learner decides that this is the book I want to use.
Yes. But the teachers themselves take them through what has been prescribed
by the
curriculum.
Can I come in?
Yes.
Okay. So, from where I sit as a teacher in the classroom, the standard-based curriculum is what is used across the board. So every school, every teacher, every person in authority in every school is expected to use the standard-based curriculum. Now, in the curriculum are a list of topics to be treated. Now, out of these topics, the writers pick them to develop the materials you see here. And so these materials are developed in various forms. And so so in English like this, every 4 years for the senior high school, the books are changed. It is the same books used everywhere in all senior high schools. Now, when you come down to the basic level,
so for the senior high school level, there's the standardization
for all the English literature.
For only English literature. So I'm talking in terms of the English aspect, for only English literature. If we pick that these are the selected texts we are using this year, these number of years, it is across the board. Every school in Ghana uses that text. I think in West Africa. Across.
No, so you have the 5 countries that use write WAEC.
Yes, so the countries that write WAEC, they all use that textbook. And when you come to the basic level, it used to be the cockerel.
So now it's Beacon of Light.
Yeah, I'm going to come there. It used to be the cockerel. And across the board, every school in Ghana made use of the cockerel. And now it's been changed to the Beacon of Light, which has got selected text in there. So there is poetry, there is drama, there is prose, and every school is using that as well. That is for literature in English. Now, if you come to the other subjects, so science, the curriculum is the main guide, and then there are supplementary textbooks. So the supplementary textbooks are to support what has been outlined in the curriculum as the broader concept to be taught. So this is the broader concepts. If it's if it's English, so I'm just using English. So if it's English and I'm teaching adjectives or I'm teaching pronouns, everything has been embedded in the curriculum. But I'm going to use these ones as supplementary to give me additional information to make it more clearer to the learners. Teachers buy various textbooks to help them teach to the ability of the learners. That is their style. And so these teachers sometimes will recommend that, I'm using Aquila.
So going back.
Aquila is good. You can tell your parents to get you Aquila so that you can use it at home. I'm using a Senko. Esenko is okay. So you can choose Esenko and use it at home.
That's a teacher in school A.
The teacher in school A.
Teacher in school B may recommend a different one.
I've written that here as well. And so Golden English, I'm using Golden English. Golden English is good. You can use it. And so every school have got their ethos.
Every teacher
have got their ethos. So they think that, okay, I think based on the curriculum, the main guide, these are things that I feel if parents can get, it will help your learning. Now, let me come to the private schools. The private schools looks at the brands that are appropriate for them. And so every private school have got their textbooks. You go to school, a private school, and they feel that these textbooks are good for my learners based on the curriculum, because at the end of the day.
So for the private schools, the schools decide.
The schools decide.
For the public schools, the teachers decide.
For the public schools, we have the main curriculum, and then the government brought some few books as well.
Yes.
With a teacher's guide to support the curriculum. And so the teacher is using what has been added to the curriculum from the Ministry of Education, and then they add their own recommendations, not for the parents to buy.
And even in the private school, which they decide, it is not only one single book. Even if they have prescribed that buy this particular brand, you will still go and see other learners using different brands because they think that is what they are comfortable with.
But Doc, what I've seen is it's a bill, it's in the school. And so they'll tell you that these are the books we are using in the school.
Aside what is in the school, even some parents still buy for their words when they
to be used at home.
Yes, to be used at home.
Yeah.
And that is it.
So the curriculum is the guide.
You see,
that is the standardized.
What you were saying, Leaks, if you go to India and other places, there are centers like NACA in Ghana have been expanded like a university, where after the development of the curriculum, they conduct research, periodic research to see whether the intention of the curriculum is being communicated or felt at the base. And then they even resource them to be able to develop their own
materials, yes,
in addition to the curriculum, which is supply to all learners in the country. But Ghana, we haven't reached that level. Maybe this government can resource us so that after the development of the curriculum, they will say, oh, Naka, you develop the curriculum, you know the spirit behind what you develop. So get these resources. You are going to expand your scope so you can still go ahead and develop a textbook in addition to the curriculum. That's the government can purchase that one for all learners in Ghana. That one you can say we have a specific textbook. But as it stands now, we don't have that. We have different publishers and not
I'll come to you, Jonas, in a bit.
The market.
I just want to remind our viewers a conversation we're having. It has to do with the cost of education. So we started off the conversation, and it had to do with textbooks that the parents felt that we're having to buy different textbooks, and these textbooks that we buy that are expensive, we can't also pass them on to our other children. That's the way the conversation started, only for us to get to realize that apparently we're supposed to develop a curriculum.
Curriculum, yeah, for the basic level.
Yeah.
For the basic level.
The basic level, yes.
And then it was developed up to a point.
Yes.
You're saying.
So you develop the curriculum.
Yeah.
And then other supplementary materials. But the textbooks are developed by various publishers.
Okay. Yes. So we have curriculum that has been developed. And then there are lots of textbooks in the system.
Yes.
Approved.
Yes. So I was going to go there. So if you look at some of these books, we have influx of these books at the market. Some of them are not approved by NACA. And because it hasn't gone through our assessment process, they may be cheaper. And so that is what learners and parents buy for their awards. Meanwhile, it doesn't meet the demands of the curriculum.
I see.
So that is
it doesn't meet the demands of the curriculum.
Yes.
So there are all these books in the system that are, coming off as though it's been approved by NACA.
Yes.
But NACA hasn't approved
them. Not all of them.
Not all of them.
Because we can look at this. There is NACA approved. If NACA approved, you see that NACA signed that.
Based on NACA syllabus, but it's not approved by NACA.
Yeah.
Please pass it on to me.
Yes.
The same, all of them, the same thing.
You see? So if you go and purchase
the same thing, all of them here, the same thing.
If you go and purchase this book and
so we have this book.
Please the blend.
Now it says Golding.
Yes.
Then it has English basics, so it's for basic schools.
Yes.
Then it says based on NACA syllabus.
Yeah.
But you're saying
if it is approved, you will see an inscription there,
NACA.
Approved by NACA, with a QR code that parents and learners can scan. Once you scan the QR code, it takes you to our website to indicate that actually NACA has approved that particular book.
Okay.
But if you don't have that, it means NACA has been approved.
NACA hasn't approved.
Yes, please.
Okay. Then we have this other one too. Okay. This is mathematics. And it says based on the new NACA syllabus, but again, this one that's not approved by NACA.
So, Israel, you can see they are all making reference to the syllabus, to the curriculum. So that is the baseline.
But that is the baseline. But even then, if it's not approved by NACA,
we are not talking about parents going to buy this, but we are talking about the baseline of whatever is taught in every school.
It's based on the based on the curriculum. That is what they are saying. But so we are saying that
if this has not been approved by NACA, how sure are you that it's actually following the
that is the education we are giving to parents and learners and teachers. If they bring such books to your schools and you don't see the NACA inscription, you don't need to patronize it.
Okay, so that's another thing that we need to point out.
Yeah.
So essentially, for the concerned parents, you've brought all these books to the studio.
Yes.
Do we have any of the books they have here that has been approved by NACA?
That's one. Among all of them,
among all these books.
So how many books? How many books? You know, I have two here.
We don't have all.
No, I'm talking about the books.
Different brands. We have Dawn series.
Okay, so let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I like
10.
Don't mention the names.
Don't mention the names.
Essentially, we have about 20 books here.
It's only one that is
approved. So Israel.
So if you go and buy this book,
Israel,
and you turn accusing NACA of not doing its work, you see that it conflicts with
Israel.
Because that's the education
Jonas.
that we have been sending.
I'm a parent.
We have been sending across.
Let me hear Jonas.
Okay.
Israel. My mother, my father, who is in the voter region, who doesn't know much about education, he only wants his children to go to school. It is somebody's job to have a certain guideline for or recommendation. If I am going to school, I am only buying the textbook recommended by the school. My parent who is in the village doesn't know whether the books are approved or not.
So you're saying the book you're holding is recommended by
the school.
The school, your child's school.
Schools, like he said, that Israel, it is just an avenue created.
Yes, so I'm not disputing that.
Please, can I make my point?
Some schools use that to milk parents.
Okay.
Because those books are, let's say, they are low cost, or they are low cost because it hasn't passed through our system process and all that.
That is 120 Ghana cedis.
How much?
120 Ghana cedis.
With publishers. The school administrators connive with publishers. They sneak the books to their schools because, one, like I'm saying, NACA. We are just an entity only located in Accra. We don't even have regional branches.
So you see,
so we are unable.
Israel, can I finish?
Can you appreciate the challenge these parents are facing?
Yes.
That they are in the school. The school is telling them buy these textbooks. And yet the textbooks they are being asked to buy is not even approved by NACA.
Yes, so through the efforts of our able minister, now, about a week ago, we had submitted an LI to Parliament. About a week ago, the LI has been passed. And so even if you have observed from the social media handles, the NACA social media handles, about a week ago, we have started making releases. Now, before a private school can order or recommend a book for their learners, they must come to NACA for, apart from the recommendation, they must come to NACA for a recommendation. So we have sent that signal across the country.
Why don't you just tell them they should stick to the approved books?
No. So you see, when you say stick, yes, that is what we have also observed. Even what we are saying NACA approved, this inscription, some people are able to fabricate it at the back of their books. So you will see an English book written NACA approved. Then you scan the QR code, it takes you to our site. It is science, integrated science.
Israel.
So we are trying
the
to
reason is that
the
door has been open for variety. We don't have a guideline. If, like you said, when you were in primary school, we have a syllabus, we have a textbook. Because it has been standardized, a lot of people are not allowed to enter. So it has been guided. They've opened the door so much that everybody can write and sell. So there is so much variety. I am not against variety. This book like this, Israel, you are seeing it like this. It's a book, we bought it. But tomorrow, it's a season, we are going to buy textbooks again. They will just change the positions of the texts, change the color, and reprint it. The point I'm trying to make it is because they've opened the door so wide for everybody to write.
Let me ask
Israel. So that is the reason why, in the wisdom of the Honorable Minister, the ministry has decided to go to Parliament so that Parliament can empower NACA,
so we have our
regulatory responsibility to now deal with all these issues.
Yes.
So now that the law has been passed, the burden of responsibility is now on NACA, and NACA has now initiated processes to deal with all the issues that he's raising.
But how have we allowed this to fester for so long?
It's a business venture.
It's like you see,
all of them are in
Israel.
It's a business venture.
Yes, let me make this clarity. For instance, this government promised to reset. And in resetting, you have to look at all the challenges. So in the education space, the Honorable Minister decided to look at all the challenges of the agencies. Importantly, one of the important sectors is NACA. And NACA brought up all their issues. So the ministry decided to go to Parliament. And then Parliament has now empowered NACA to enforce their regulatory activities, to be able to deal with this. Now, the basic school curriculum has just been revised. It is yet to be approved by Cabinet. It is still at the Ministry of Education level for them to also evaluate the curriculum. After that, the Honorable Minister will send it to Cabinet. When Cabinet approve it, that is where government will now procure textbooks. And the reason why maybe some of the schools, they are not limited to one textbook. Every teacher has a unique way of teaching, just like every writer has his own unique way of writing. But whatever you are putting out in the public domain should conform with the NACA curriculum. And that is what we are trying to fix at the moment.
And again, so now we are trying to help the system by developing learning materials. So TTEL has partnered with NACA. We are writing learning materials, teacher manuals, PLC books, and all that to supplement the curriculum in the form of textbook, but we have not named it as a textbook, but we call it learning material. So they are used as guidelines or supplementary readers.
So would that be for the public schools?
For public schools. And you see, with the help of our Honorable Minister, we have a website on the Ghana Education website, Ministry of Education website, which is called a microsite, where we have all our curriculum-related materials there, which learners can access. It is 0 rated. So you go there, you are able, even if you don't have the data, you are able to access it. So instead of maybe even buy other textbooks you think are not good, you can just go there, and those materials are written and approved by NACA. You can just read them for free. Teachers can go there, get additional supplementary materials to supplement what is in the curriculum for them to be able to deliver. Okay. Now, we also have an app called the subject-specific app, where teachers can go there, input whatever thing they want to teach. The app is able to develop lesson plan, give assessment items, make sure that the content they are going to teach are well differentiated for them to be able to meet the different learning needs or abilities of their learners in their classroom. So we are putting all these things in place to salvage this situation of influx of these unapproved textbooks. And we are going to go after them now that our LI has been passed. In fact, in this September, we are going to go around all schools and across the country. The minister has empowered us, and we are going to fish out all these ones and prosecute all these publishers who send to the market unapproved books.
So,
and so the education I want to say is that
prosecuting the publishers. How about the schools that are allowed
so
these
the
ones
education the education is that schools now shouldn't patronize books that have not been approved by NACA. That's the first one. That's the education we are sending across. Learners shouldn't buy them.
I want you to reiterate it. This.
Schools shouldn't buy books that have not been approved by NACA. If we come to the school and we find a book that has been recommended by a school that has not been approved by NACA, we are going to prosecute the school. The authorities, the teachers in the school, we are going to prosecute them. If we come to a bookshop and you are a bookshop owner selling any unapproved book, we are going to close down your shop. So that is a signal I'm sending to the populace. Now, coming this September, we are coming to come round. And so if you are a publisher and you have been sneaking to send unapproved books to the market, please come to NACA and come and do the needful before September. If not, when we come and we get you on the 4th, we are going to prosecute you.
Doc, one other issue they raise is the exploitation, where Jonas talks about they'll take a textbook. They're not going to change much about the textbook. They'll just move pages and then reprint. Is that something that is peculiar to the unapproved textbooks, or the approved textbooks also do that?
No, the approved textbooks, because it has to come to us. And so when it comes to us, we assess it. And so they cannot do that. But the unapproved one, somebody sits in his own room, do something, and then bring it to the market. So that is what we are saying. Even after seeing the NACA approved at the back of the book, there is also a QR code.
Yeah. So check that QR code.
Once you scan, the code will take you to our site, indicating that, okay, this book is an integrated science from this publisher and has been approved.
Okay.
But quickly, even after the code taking you to our site, you have to check the book you are scanning, the name of the book, and what is in there. Some of them, they are too wise to the extent that they even bring an English book, we approve it, we give them a QR code, and then they take that inscription, put it on a science book, and they get to the market and sell. So if you scan a book that you have bought, approved by NACA, and it takes you to our site, and it's a science book, and you see it on our site as English, don't patronize it, it's fake.
Okay. Now, Jonas, a number of the issues you've raised has to do with these books, so many in the system, and you would want to think that, well, it has something to do with government. Government is now, well, NACA is trying to explain to you that these books that you're talking about, of the more than 20 books we have here, only one has been approved. So the problem then becomes not government, per se, but the schools that you're having to deal with.
Israel, nobody's blaming government, but I'm saying, who is responsible for education? Growing up, we all grew up watching you on TV. We were educated by the same textbooks because it has a long-term educational plan. So the textbooks that has been written in a way that it carries you from a certain point to a certain point. It has been guided. It's because they've opened the door so wide for everybody to write.
I can understand, but that is where Jonas, that's what he's saying, that yes, they are now taking steps and they're going to clamp down on all these books in the system, because many of the books that we brought here are not approved. Will it solve a problem for you if they restrict, because they're saying that the old plan or policy that we had, where we had, a few standardized books, doesn't work for education right now. They feel that we've advanced and we should do things differently. So yes, this time there are going to be a few more books approved by them. Does that will that solve the problem for concerned parents? If we have lesser books for you to choose from, and the other problem you're talking about, how they just move pages around and sell the books to you, they are now going to say that that's also going to change. Is the issue of they writing in the textbook,
is this approved by NACA?
Also going to change? I would want to imagine that this will be a workbook.
Yes.
So workbooks will be approved.
Yeah.
So workbook There's textbook and workbook.
Yes.
So the schools again should be able to say, okay, there's a workbook.
Yes.
But the workbook, if you can afford the workbook, get the workbook. If you can't afford the workbook and you can use do the work in your exercise books, that should also be up to you.
Israel.
Does that solve the problem?
No, Israel.
I have you have
Israel, 1 minute.
I imagine. Okay,
Israel,
so I have. Hold on. I have one parent in the studio. She's female. We haven't heard a lot of female voices, so let's hand over the microphone to her. Let's hear her.
Okay.
Mention your name.
Okay, I'm with Nyako.
With Nyako.
It doesn't solve.
How many kids do you have?
5.
5. Oh, you must be going through quite a bit. So you tell us, yeah.
So it doesn't solve the problem. So let's see. You have a textbook, you have a workbook. Then you still ask us to buy exercise
and buy textbook.
So my question is.
No, this should be directed at your schools.
No, because believe you me, even in the government school, they do the same thing with the literature. Cockerel. They still have a workbook.
There's no more cockerel.
Yes.
It's Beacon of Light.
Exactly. They still have a workbook.
Really? Maybe in your school?
No, they have a workbook.
You see, let me correct her quickly. You see, like I said, if they are submitting the books for assessment, we have the textbook, the teacher's guide, and the workbook.
Yeah.
Okay.
The workbook has supplementary assessment items, but does not restrict the teachers from writing different assessment items. So the workbooks are just like for assignments, homework.
Yes.
But the teachers are supposed to give their main written exercise and items or tasks or activities to the learners in exercise books. So the
this
workbook
also
just
complement. This also goes to the teachers.
Yes.
You see, because it looks like the teachers are also part of the exploitation.
In which school? Is it the government school or the private school?
It's a government school.
When he was speaking,
It says that the door is going to be shut.
When he was speaking,
Please,
he said,
can I make my point?
Okay.
Listen, you have a workbook, you have a textbook. You are being asked to buy exercise books. Okay. Please, my question here is that, so what would be the essence of the workbook?
Get the microphone closer to your mouth.
So what would be the essence of the workbook? If I'm being asked to buy an exercise book, yes, we are going to still write in the exercise book. So please, what is the essence of we going in for the workbook if you are still going to write on the blackboard?
My understanding is, from what he's explained, the workbook becomes optional.
Yes.
It should be optional.
Yes.
But students are being still forced to write.
So then it has to do with the schools and the teachers.
Yes, it's not the government.
So again, you're saying, Doc, that you probably would have to come out more clearly.
Yes.
Because it looks like the parents have been taken for granted for way and exploited for way too long.
Yes.
By the teachers and the schools.
Please, not the teachers, not every teacher.
Well,
some of them. Who recommend this thing for us to buy?
No, some of the schools, some of the teachers.
So excuse me, I'm talking about a public school.
Yes,
okay?
but yes.
So listen, you are being asked to buy all. We were asked to buy all the things.
Don't have any option.
Do you understand me? And this, you have no option. You'd have to buy them.
Was it sold in the school or outside the school?
Inside the school.
Okay.
And some are combined, okay? Others are single. What I'm talking about is that my son has finished, okay? He's completed the junior high school. He has other younger brothers in the junior high school Form 1, and they still can't use those textbooks. This is a public school you're talking about here, not a private school.
And again, let's distinguish between the textbook
and the workbook.
Because with the textbook, I don't expect work to be done in the
Israel. So there's a mishap here.
No, for me, I beg to differ on that. My issue here is that why the textbooks? Why the workbook? Because if you have a textbook,
you see,
so you still
she's still confused. You see, what I'm saying is that the work, the publishers are just like teachers. They have experience in the subject area. Some of them even contract teachers to write their books for them. So I see this content, and then I just imagine that, okay, let me just write these items as supplementary items or questions to what I have written in the textbook. So it comes with that workbook, so they have it. But it does not necessarily mean that that is what teachers should stick to. So teachers will now write their own items based on their understanding and what they have taught you, given to you in an exercise book. So the workbook are just prescribed by just the author. So it is not mandatory for any person to buy a workbook. But the exercise book, you have to buy because teachers will have to give you assignment. Some of them don't even use
so exercise book. Exercise book, plain book, nothing.
Yes.
I mean, so there's an exercise book, there's the workbook,
yes,
and then there's the textbook.
Yes.
So then, my Chinai, why can't it be combined? Then we have to go in for two things at the same time.
When you say combine,
the text.
And get the microphone again.
So then you combine the textbooks and the workbook together, because previously
we don't do that.
Way back,
that's nothing like workbook.
Some of the questions, you see the questions at the back of the textbook.
And we don't write into it.
You don't write into it. Do you understand?
The old textbook, we don't write in the textbooks.
I don't buy into it.
I want
to make we recommend that every textbook we buy, for every strand or indicator, there must be an accompanying assessment items.
Assessment items, how they're saying assessment items in the
exercise book.
It can be in the textbook.
In the textbook. In the textbook.
And then you use your exercise book
to answer.
Yeah. But what I'm saying that the workbook is additional assessment items that have been prescribed by the publisher.
Israel,